The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast, second pod of the week. I'm in St. Louis. Brian's here. Noah's here. Brian and I were already texting this morning, talking some smack.
Talking smack. It's good to talk smack first thing in the morning. It really gets your day going.
It really gets you going. It's so fun to just send each other something and be like, what is this?
Well, yeah, it's just more of the same. The industry is just making the same mistakes over and over again and not realizing, and they're not going to catch up.
Brian has done the analytics on this, and he is so right.
Is this about the 60th season of Days of Our Lives coming out?
Oh, no, is that a thing?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that's still going, because I felt like soap operas would have died out by now.
Not that one.
It's nice to see something last long at all. Like, this is the age of one season and done. To have something last 60 seasons is a nice thing. It's good to have a commitment.
Without getting too in depth and alienating the people who don't give a fuck about Hollywood and how it runs, what is the overall gripe, Brian, that you think that the mistake they're making over and over? That we are not we are now, because I have your brain incepted into mine.
I've incepted.
And Chris too. Chris also is of your same thinking. It's adjusted the way I do things, even though I was maybe erring on the other side of things, and it's the wrong way to do it. Tell me about it.
Okay, this is controversial, and maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this, I don't think I will. And this has nothing to do with the fact that Trump just got elected. I just want to be clear. But truly, for about the last 15 years, Hollywood, and comedy only, and I can't speak to not comedy, but Hollywood felt that making political statements with being the first blank or breaking this ceiling or doing something with this type of person was more important than making something that people wanted to watch. And for about there's a 6-year span where there was enough liberal support for that people would watch it. Even if they didn't really like it, they would just support it. And that is ending. And what happened was, when comedy became that in the industry, there was this void of comedy, mostly for white men. I'm a white man. Mostly for white men, that the industry was not filling. And so that comedy went to the internet. And all of a sudden, there was this explosion.
All of a sudden.
I
can't stand all of a sudden. It's everyone. Smart people say it all the time. They say all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
And I would never correct you if you were a dumb person, because I'd just be like,
Wait, did I say all of a sudden?
Yeah, you said all of a sudden.
I think I just slurred.
Let's play it back.
Maybe
I'm wrong. Maybe this is my Jennifer Garner moment where she's like, actually, Conan, that's not a real word. And then they look it up and he's like, it is. Okay, go on, Brian. Sorry.
So then comedy went to the internet and
podcasts.
And podcasts. And there was, because Hollywood did not service.
We're not serving
those people, these white men and others. Apparently, now that Trump's been elected, apparently it's also Latino men and Asian men or whatever. But that's the problem, is dicing up people into these groups and thinking that you can pander to these individual groups and give them if you're a woman, you must want to see a show about a powerful woman tackling women's issues. And it's that's not true. You just want to see a good show.
I gotta be honest. I think women don't want to see that. I'm speaking for myself, but when I'm going through a hard time in my life and I need TV to soothe me, I don't want to see someone living their best life and doing things I don't want inspiration. I want kind of depression porn. I want things to validate the state that I'm in. I want things. I don't want to watch aspirational things. Or
did you like Handmaid's Tale?
No, I was too disturbed by it. It was
pretty
too real.
disturbing.
I just saw the first episode, and I've based everything I know off the show based on that one episode. I just didn't I didn't like how like good men were like, oh, it's weird, I'm getting your money. Wow, that's crazy, babe. I don't like this either. Like it felt like kind of the vibe post Trump, where it was like women were all really upset, and men were kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry, and you're just like, yeah, you should be even more mad. But it's like, well, it's so weird that your money is mine now. Huh? Well, maybe we'll look into this, and then they don't, and then they fight. Kind of. I was just kind of feeling like, oh, that's kind of the vibe of like they're mad but not mad enough. And now I'm completely numb to everything. Like I don't. My mom's like, guess who's the? Oh God, she picked up her phone last night. Who the fuck is McMahon? Some wrestling person? And I go, I don't care anymore. I literally, you could tell me Kid Rock is the Secretary of Defense. I don't care.
He probably is right by now.
Am done. I've given up. Like I've turned off my brain. I was saying on Girls Chat today that I felt like this country was has terminal cancer. And was like stage 3 or 4 around the election, and now it's definitely we're off chemo, we're not trying anymore, and we're just waiting for it to die. And I'm just gonna enjoy it while I have it. I'm not gonna like bitch about it anymore. I just I'm just gonna lean into it's great for me. It's 65 degrees, November 20th in St. Louis, Missouri. It's like, this is kind of awesome. I don't have fucking kids. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna turn off my empathy for a couple months because I can't really handle it, and I gotta focus on work, and I don't really have time to give a fuck about at all the atrocities of the world. I just don't have time for it. I can't do it. So just muting my empathy.
You're going to wake up every day and be upset every single day about something that you have no control over?
I just said, Mom, put down the phone. Like, Dr. Oz. Of course, Dr. Oz. Of course it's Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz is in charge of
that seems like
Medicare.
An Onion article or an Onion headline. It's not anymore. We're living in the Onion, and I am just enjoing the ride.
Kid Rock is in charge of the Geological Survey because he's
because his name has
rocks.
rock in it. Yeah.
That's going to happen now.
But yeah, I think that with comedy, it's like, I think you're absolutely right. Like Chris is always, and when we were working on my past 2 specials, any kind of moment where I'm kind of like, ladies, or like, just kind of angry at men in general, which I've never really am. It's always like, I'm almost like, I wasn't playing into that vibe or trying to serve that like wokeness. It was just like, it was almost saying it ironically at some points in my set, where I would just kind of make the easy joke about about throwing men under the bus or being like, it's so hard to be a woman. Like, and he just very gently was like, I gotta be honest, like, I don't want to listen to this stuff. We already know it. It just turns me off. And if you want, if I'm going to have to listen to you complain about so-and-so is selling out this place and that guy is selling out this place and I'm not, or any kind of complaint you have comparing yourself to people who don't make these kinds of bold statements or these kind of woke statements, you're choosing to alienate people that would sell out those places by saying this stuff, these little like cutting little remarks. So that was not easy to hear. And it was like a little bit of like, oh, so you're going to silence me and you're going to this is the fucking patriarchy at play right now. I heard it, but I also was like, you know what? The people that buy tickets to my shows don't need to be scolded about who they are. It's actually one of the parts about comedy I hate more than anything is when you group a whole group together and you like the tribalism of like, you're all like this. Like, even when I get into the stuff about like dads don't do as much as moms, I always reiterate, dads, I am not mad at you. I am not saying men step it up. There's no part of me that wants that. These are just the gender roles. I'm just pointing out that there is a disparity, but I'm not being like, what the fuck? Like, that's why I'm choosing not to be a mom, because I know the roles and I don't want that role. Like, I would want the dad role. That sounds good. And I'm not shitting on you by saying it's easier than being a mom. I'm trying to make fun of the fact that these are the gender roles, not that you are somehow, holding us back or whatever. Like, I have to reiterate that because I truly believe that. Like, it's not a dad's fault that he's expected to do less. It's just it just is the way it is.
And also, not every joke has to become a huge thing where you're making a statement about the patriarchy. It can be just, you're just joking around about this. And like, I feel like even Allie was watching this a movie that came out in 2017 or something about Billie Jean King. And did you know this story about how Billie Jean King
Battle of the Sexes?
Yeah, the Battle of the Sexes. Do you know that story? I mean, I didn't watch.
Very vaguely.
So I think it was the 70s, but back in the 70s, there was this like quote unquote misogynistic man who said that there's no way that a woman could
Jimmy
beat
Connors.
a man in tennis.
Is that
It was
right?
Jimmy Connor? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I believe
I
so.
still have to watch it.
This is
And
like
so-
my cursory knowledge of things that I should know more about. Okay, yes.
Anyway, I don't want to butcher this, but it was this huge event in the 70s where there was like a misogynistic man versus a feminist woman, and they're going to have a tennis match. And there were two matches, and I don't want to spoil it, but there were two matches and they had different outcomes. But in the lead up to these events, the misogynistic man was being ultra misogynistic on purpose to like juice up the event and like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And Billie Jean King was also rolling with the punches and being like, oh, you think women need to be in the kitchen? He's like, women should be in the kitchen, pregnant and barefoot, not playing tennis. And she's like, yeah, well, you know, men should have their dicks cut off or whatever. And it was fun. And everyone was saying it with like a little bit of like a tongue in cheek. We're having a good time. They had the tennis match. And ultimately Billie Jean King came out on top. And no one was like, this is horrible that they were even talking this way. It was just fun. And that's what I feel like we should return to, is being like, not everything has to be so incredibly serious where everything is an indictment.
Well, there's
on
like a lot of
society.
activism.
What?
There's a lot of activism in TV shows, and sometimes people just want to watch a boob tube. They just don't.
Yes.
We don't need the
they don't turn that
activism
stuff
in
off.
comedy anymore.
I know. I don't want to learn things sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
And well, that's
I
what
just
happened.
Feel.
That's why that's why people aren't watching those shows. Like,
Well,
if
that's
you,
why clapter became a thing rather than laughter. Like
God.
with in comedy, like you would just say a statement that people would feel like I have to agree with this, so then they would clap, and that it would almost seem to the naked eye that it was this person's killing because they're getting an applause break. But it's just like they had nothing else. They couldn't laugh. They had to do something. So that's what they
Right.
did with it. And it happens all the time. It's like makes TV unwatchable. I can't take clapping anymore. Like I love, thank you so much to people who make TikTok videos and reels where you take out the laughter and the clapping, because I can't watch stand up because of all the fucking applause breaks and just like
Yep.
showmanship of just like basking in. I don't need to see that shit. I can determine myself. I'm not at home standing up clapping. Let's just get through it. Let's get to the next joke. I don't need to see you being so grateful that everyone showed up to Radio City or wherever the fuck you are. Like, I don't care. And I love when you watch these clips and I go, God, why is this suddenly watchable for me? Oh, because they took out all of that. Like, there are some shows that I would venture to guess. I don't want to call out one show because it's a friend of mine, but their show is probably 50% clapping at least. And I would like to someday with Chris time it, because it's one of these things that I always just do 10 seconds ahead every single time he hits a punchline, because I know that it's going to be. Oh, well, you know what?
Yeah,
I change the
gave it away.
gender when
It's
I'm
a
talking
he.
shit about people all the time,
okay.
and no one ever notices.
Well, we know it's not Conan because you love him. So who is it going to be?
Conan doesn't bask.
No.
Conan does not bask.
We miss Conan. I mean, Conan needs to come back, I think.
I love Conan so much. I've been watching like old clips of his, and it was just so silly and fun, and he wasn't really there wasn't a lot of.
Well, that's what happened to the late night shows.
Well, I don't care. I love Jimmy Kimmel, and I am so grateful for his show, especially the week after he won. Like, I was just waiting every night to see what Jimmy would say, because I just feel like Jimmy has such a big heart and really put himself on the line by taking a huge stance on things. And I just felt like, you know, he's the one that's going to pay the price if Trump really has his way with, like, you know what I mean? Like, he put his neck out there and is really extremely brave. I wrote him an email being like, thank you so much, because I really felt that way. I was like, it was the only thing that week that made me feel better was watching his show. And it was just, it must've been hard to make shows that week. I haven't like kept up with things, but I'm always, I'm such a huge fan. I love that Jimmy Kimmel is political. I'm not talking about his show at all. obsessed.
I do want to say it goes both ways too. It's not just woke comedians doing like woke things with the applause that's cringe. It's also people on the right who are just like repeating Fox News talking points as their comedy, which is also cringe. It's like the point of a comedian is not to just buttress your political point of view. It's to make unique observations and make people laugh. And like,
I don't know. George Carlin was very political in almost everything he talked about. And
yeah, that's
and
true.
I loved it.
Those were unique point of views. Those were his ideas.
Yeah, like he didn't seem to be straddling like any line. It was just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, he hated both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Well, he would attack both sides, but he also he had his own unique perspective on things, and that's I think what a joke is. And right now you have people on the right who are literally just saying Fox News talking points as their jokes. And you have people on the left who are literally just repeating something that Rachel Maddow would say on MSNBC as their jokes.
Well,
and
can
instead
I
of
just
getting
say
laughs, they're getting applause.
One
Both
show
sides.
that I'm obsessed with right now that is just like feels like a remedy, a balm to my soul because it's so funny and like is doing exactly what I want from comedies and have craved and is just nailing it so fucking hard. I'm obsessed with English Teacher on FX. I watched 5 episodes last night. Have
Sean
you guys seen
Patton.
it? Yeah, Sean Patton's on it. He's amazing in it. It's so fun to see an old friend who you started in comedy with just like latch into a role and like thrive. He's so good.
I think it got renewed for season 2 already.
It better. It is so from the get. I mean, the pilot is incredible. The whole fucking show is so good. It's so the people talk like real people. There's just one scene where the guy's like talking to his boyfriend at a restaurant and he's in the middle of this really big point and he's like, and then he overhears the song play and he's like, I love the song. He's like, and you know what? It's about principle. Oh fuck, I love this song. And it's about me standing up for what's right. And it was just like that little moment. Like, who thought to put that in the script? Like, you see that happen all the time. It's just so fucking real. I just love it so much. I can't recommend it enough. I wrote Anya last night as I started the first episode. I was like, this is fucking great. You and Matt will love English Teacher. She started it immediately and was like, oh my God, we are obsessed. It's just an instant. You'll love it. In an instant. And then my dad came home from tennis because I was watching with my mom while my dad was at tennis. He came home. He jumped in on episode 5. We were cracking up like hard laughs. Hard laughs on a show where you don't know the characters yet. You just met them and you're already in.
Great.
Like truly
nice.
A+. A+. I love this show and the performances are out of this world. The woman who plays the female friend teacher is so good. The guy that created the show, who's the lead, I think they all write on it. It's just it's brilliant. It like renews
the lead
my
is
faith.
the creator, I think.
He's amazing.
And it's not renewed for season 2 yet. I just looked it up.
That is a travesty because it is an instant hit. It is so fucking strong. It just makes me think of how many strong shows are out there that just don't make it. Like, I have so many friends who are like, one of the best scripts I ever wrote in my life. Like, it almost got made and then it didn't. And I go, well, where is it? What wasn't that 15 years ago? Why don't you dredge it up again? Why can't we get that back out there? Like so many things, I remember learning my freshman year of college at University of Colorado. It was the only class I ever retained any information from, that in a psychology class I took. But this one was about television. And he was like, how many pilots do you think get made a year? And we all like guessed. And he was like, or get written a year and like considered and read. And we were all like 25. And he was like, it was like 500 to 1,000. And he goes, how many do you think get made? And then we were like, I don't know, 10. And he was like, no, like 70. I mean, this is 2003. And he's like, and how many of those shows actually go to air? It was like 5. And then how many of those become a Friends? 1 every 6 years. It's like, it blew my mind. But within that, there's so many scripts that are just, would have been the next Seinfeld, would have been the next Curb, would have been the next 30 Rock that just never see the light of day because it was just the wrong time. They just had a show already with that kind of setting, or they couldn't find the right lead for it, or he was, had a deal with someone else. It's like, I just
And
think it's
then-
so weird in this business that if something does, you've had things almost go, and then that
I
thing
mean,
is
the
dead.
best
That will,
script-
you can never bring it back out again.
The best script I
Why?
ever wrote is sitting in Fox right now. And
Why?
Yeah, I don't know
Why don't
why.
they dust it off and consider it again when they're having a slow season? I don't get it.
Here's what's infuriating is despite all those numbers you just said, think about all of the horrible shows that do make it to air. It's like, how did that get filtered through a process of thousands to make it to series?
I don't know. Like,
Are they, I mean, well, to be
being
fair,
safe?
there was this,
Attaching an actor that's really famous? Nepotism? I don't know.
sometimes, and then sometimes not. Sometimes just like a random piece of shit. Now, I do think that like to make a show good, like there is an infinite number of things that can go wrong, and even if you are like you have an amazing script, an amazing idea, like there's 1,000 different factors that go into making a show good or bad, and if any one of those things goes wrong, if it's an exec, if it's a prop person, if it's anything, if it's the title, then you could wind up having a piece of shit show. So it is like, I understand how these shit shows make it to air, but yeah, no, I agree. It's like, writers don't really need to write anything anymore. There are
Dig up old scripts and
There
then
are
update
files.
them to have cell phones in them.
to put the
You know
cell
what I
phones
mean?
in.
Okay, we got to go to break. We'll come back after this and we won't talk about TV anymore because I know some people are going to be like, enough. All right, we'll be back after this. What do we have to talk about besides TV? Anything going on in your guys' lives? I got mine's pretty boring over here. It's just been like wake up, go to Starbucks, walk my dog, go to the park. Oh, my dog almost got hit by a car today. That was fucking terrifying. I don't know what to do because I like letting her off leash. It's like there's a huge fields for her to run. She gets out of the car and she goes like zipping, and then she gets so much energy out chasing squirrels. And she just got a little bit far away from me because I let her go, and she never runs in the street. Like she just knows stay in grass. But then she saw a squirrel and she had to chase that dragon,
yeah.
and she just went across the street. And I held my breath, just being like, Nikki, if you lose her, this is your fault, and you can live with the consequences. Like this is, I was like ready to lose my dog and watch my dog get run over, and she didn't. And I screamed so loud my throat hurt afterwards because I was just like, Goldie! And then I felt so dumb. Like, how can I let that happen? And I can never let that happen again. But I don't really know how to prevent it because that is our favorite thing to do is go, and I will just chase her more. Every time she goes and runs, I will chase her. So I'll be close to her so that she never gets by the road. That's my
Can
new
you catch
plan
up
for
to
myself.
her?
She
you
usually
outrun
like I can let her go pretty far, and she always comes back to me and never goes in the street. We've been doing this. I mean, we've probably done this 50, 60 times going to this area of the park. And this is the first time that a squirrel just got her to the edge, and then that squirrel darted across the street. So then she followed. And so I just have to stay. I have a plan now that I'm just not going to let her get near roads. I just can't. And that'll
Off
be the plan
leash.
because off leash. Yes, exactly.
You need a
But-
yard.
I know, but dogs don't like to run as much in yards as they do when it's like a open field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you let a dog out in the backyard and it just stands there.
Because
Yeah,
it's the
well,
same
what about a
smells
park?
over and over.
Yes, it needs new smells. Yeah, and on the leash, she just doesn't know how to behave on a leash, and I'm trying to train her. It's just a fucking, it's
Hire
but-
somebody. You can just hire somebody to train her. Come every day for 2 months, and then you'll have a perfect dog.
really.
Yeah.
Or you give her to someone and they keep her for like 2 weeks and they just do a program with her and then they give her back to you trained.
And she's perfect.
Okay, that's interesting. I actually was thinking about what am I going to fucking do with her during Golden Globes, and maybe I'd take her to somewhere to go train in
Training camp.
Los Angeles. Yeah, because there's probably tons of them out there for
Oh, yeah.
rich people who are on set. all
Everybody
day and
should
don't
do
wanna be
that.
on the
You know,
bus.
it's just so much. You don't have to be responsible for teaching your dog how to
We
sit
send our
or-
kids to school.
Right, exactly.
Why is
You
it
don't-
shameful to not train? Like I don't want to train. I don't know how to do it.
If you have the
I'm not
money,
consistent.
then just pay to get your dog trained, and then in 2 to 3 weeks, you will have a perfect dog.
Okay, this is interesting, and I should have been doing this all along. Okay, thank you.
That's
I
okay.
will
It's
do
never
that.
too late.
It's never
Yeah,
too late to
it's never
train a
too
dog. You can't teach you can teach an old dog new tricks. is the
Yeah,
saying.
that's true. I
Yeah.
think that's true. She's so cute. I'm obsessed with her. But yeah. Any news out of your life?
Well, this is so
Lives.
fucking boring. But I did want to talk to you about this because I I wondered if you ever tried this. Have you ever taken ginseng?
Oh God.
Like ginseng tea?
No, I think I probably had ginseng infused Arizona tea or something.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
but
yes.
no, I've
Yeah, I
never
remember
taken
this.
ginseng. No.
I mean, it really works. It really is.
For what?
It's for your
And how do
brain?
you take it?
I drink it as a tea. I've been talking to Chris about this. You're going to see ginseng popping up in your life now because
Oh, God.
Chris is on board.
Uh-huh. More
So-
things he'll buy and not use.
Yeah. So, so ginseng is like, there's American ginseng, there's Asian ginseng. It's very popular in China. Like old men in China are sipping on ginseng tea constantly, so much so that it's kind of like a joke. Like, look at that old man sipping on that tea. That's what they say.
Where did you hear about it?
I've been
what made
reading
you
it.
get into it right now?
Well, just trying to solve all my problems with herbal supplements. But ginseng tea works a lot like caffeine, except it's not jittery and it doesn't give you a crash. And I don't know how people with caffeine will respond to ginseng because maybe it's not like powerful enough. It's like telling someone who like does heroin to like do jumping jacks, but it is like a replacement for caffeine.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no fucking way this works. This is a bunch of, Chinese bullshit. And then I drank a cup of ginseng tea and I really felt like laser focused and energized for several hours as if I drank caffeine.
Did you just buy the ginseng tea at like the store, like a normal store? Or did you have to go to like a Asian food market and get like the real stuff?
I got it off Amazon. It's one of those, how there's like teas that are like, this isn't tea, this is medicine. Those boxes. I got one of those. Yeah.
Okay. I
So it
actually,
works.
a bestie just sent me, she just opened a Eastern medicine shop and she sent me a bunch of herbal supplements and things that I've been taking that are supposed to, like, she was like, I know you have depression and anxiety, so here's a
What
bunch
did
of
you get?
stuff. And she,
Ashwagandha?
I mean, I could go
Is that
get,
how you say
hold
it?
on, let me go get the card that she sent me. One second. I got some supplements.
Okay.
You hear
Oh,
them?
I
Oh
can
my
hear
God.
them.
They're so cute. Okay. So the Eastern philosophy is the name of,
I think that is a bag of ginseng you have
the
right there.
easternphilosophy.com. No, it's not. These are dates. Yeah, at the Eastern Philosophy. This is not an ad, by the way. This is a bestie named Nina Cheng, Cheng. She wrote a book called Chinese Medicine for the Mind, a science-backed guide to improving mental health with traditional Chinese medicine. Includes 35 plus herbal formulas for depression, anxiety, ADHD, and more. She said, Nikki, I hope you enjoy reading my new book, Chinese Medicine for the Mind, and learning about traditional Chinese medicine's natural approach to mental well-being.
Yes.
I also included some other goodies from the Eastern Philosophy, my Chinese medicine online apothecary. Okay, so there's Relax Plus, which is, I don't know how to pronounce, one of the most researched herbal medicines for depression and anxiety. Okay, Relax Plus. I've been taking it every day. Don't know what's going on yet, but I've been taking it for, I think, 5 days, and you take these little beads. It's amazing what they look like. They look like little sixlets. Do you know what sixlets are? They look like little. They look like little beads. They're like the size of a bead that you would put on a friendship bracelet, and they're little black beads. And I don't know what's inside them, but I like it. So that's
And it's
page
been helping you?
75. I don't know. People have been like, I don't know. Whenever I was on antidepressants, I didn't know if they were working or not. But this is supposed to take the place of like a Zoloft.
Which antidepressants were you taking?
None.
You've never taken them?
Like in my life, I took Prozac, I took Trintalix, I took Zoloft, I
Trintalix.
took.
And did that help you, or do you feel
lithium.
like, do you hate them?
I
or-
never knew. I just always was like, I think I felt like numb on them for a while. I remember when I was friends with a famous person, she was talking about how her mom was on Zoloft and that they went hang gliding and that they had like GoPros on their heads, to be like to film them hang gliding.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom was on like the same dose of Zoloft I was on, and she was like, "Yeah, my mom." We looked at the video later of us hang gliding, and like the whole time I'm hang gliding, I'm like, "Whoa, holy shit, whoa!" And then we're like landing, and we're going through this like grass, this like tall grass. We're like, it's like slapping us in the face, and we're like, and we're like, "Oh my god!" And my mom was just like, no expression, just like looking around. And I was kind of like, oh, I think she just said that. And I was like, man, I relate to that feeling of like not being impressed by anything.
Yep.
And so then I got off it. And then,
That exact thing happened to me with Cymbalta. I felt numb. I couldn't feel anything. And then my stepdad passed away, and I was like, I don't feel sad. and that's when I decided I'm gonna stop taking Cymbalta. And it was really hard to get off of too. You get brain zaps.
Oh my god, I've been getting brain zaps lately.
Those brain zaps are awful,
dude. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've been getting those lately, and I think it's from
These
I don't
pills you're
know,
taking.
like. No, it was
Over the
before
last
pills.
5 days, I've been
no.
getting brain zaps.
It was actually they went away with the pills. I think I was getting them from tiredness. Or
Interesting.
maybe like my ADHD meds. I don't take them enough, and I was taking them last week, and I don't know what it was, but it was like it's that it feels like a jolt on your scalp, not much your brain, but like your
okay.
scalp. Is that what it feels
Yeah.
like a burning in different sections
no,
of your scalp?
Not for me. For me, it felt like a electric, like
brain?
lightning bolt in my brain. It was like
Yeah.
a,
Oh,
lightning
okay,
bolt.
then that's not what I felt because I kept looking up like what is this like random sharp scalp pain. And it kept saying brain zaps. And I'm like, but mine's on my scalp. I would never think this was in my brain. It just feels on the skin of my scalp. Anyway, so this formula that I got called Relax Plus, it says it's the most researched and proven remedy for depression in the world. Its name refers to the wonderful effects the remedy has in supporting circulation as well as softer emotions, digestive function, and inner resources, while also stabilizing mood. A 2001 randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study found that for mild to moderate depression with anxiety, this formula was as effective as Zoloft, but its effect felt sooner and was deemed safer and less expensive than its Western medicine counterpart. So if you guys want to check this stuff out, this is again not an ad. I'm going to be buying this stuff for myself. And then she gave me so she gave me that. It's called Relax Plus, RELAXX Plus, and you can find it at the Eastern Philosophy or the easternphilosophy.com. Soothwell, a popular herbal formula for instant calm. I haven't tried that yet. Luong tea, LOONG, a Tibetan medicine herbal tea for mental instability. My mom and I have been fucking chugging this shit every night, and we're loving it. LOONG tea. It's just like a soothing tea. I mean, tea always makes me feel soothed, so I can't speak to it be like having remarkable effects all of a sudden on my body, but I was feeling anxious yesterday. I went to my parents' house. I made this tea that I had made the night before too, and I felt calmer once I had that tea in me.
but even if it's a placebo effect, that's
It's
real.
working. Yeah.
Placebo is real. If it's convincing enough to you that your brain's like, oh,
right.
and you're actually
I'll
feeling
take
that.
the placebes.
Yeah,
And then
I'll take
fooping
placebos all day.
jujubes. Fooping jubes are
Yeah,
essentially
okay.
dates, and this is a bag of these dates,
That's
and
a
it says
Teletubby. One of the
a superfood. It's a Pokemon that I caught. A superfood herb used in TCM. I don't know what that is for
Turner
relieving
Classic
anxiety.
Movies.
Yeah. So they these are sponsored by them. Eat 2 to 3 a day straight out of the bag. So it's just like a dried date.
Okay.
But they're a special kind of date. They're almost like they have like a raspberry color to them. Anyway,
And what
this
do they do
book
for
is
you?
I'm going to read. I'm actually really excited to read it. I think this is like the future of what American health system is going to be because even my
RFK Jr. is going
sister,
to take away our medicine.
my sister had a fucking
Eastern
pitch-
medicine was around even longer than Western medicine. So we're just
but
going
I mean,
back.
this is what people are doing because it's so terrifying to go to the doctor because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know the bill that's going to proceed. You just like, you can't anticipate fucking anything anymore. And it's like, if people are terrified to go to the doctor because of all the expenses that they're just, even my sister the other day has a pinched nerve and and she goes, I'm going to the chiropractor today. I'm like, okay, sweet. I'll meet you there. Cause I'm kind of obsessed with watching YouTube videos of like muscle manipulation stuff. So I was like, I'm going to see it live. I was like, I'm here for YouTube live. And I walked in and I got to see her get an exam and it was like so ASMR. I like loved it so much, but she's in so much pain, the poor thing. But she just told me I'm just doing this because I am just trying to like work around the medical system. She was like, I'm just trying to do anything that doesn't get me near a hospital with all the costs. Like at least this is like upfront about costs. Like, you know exactly what you're getting. And shout out to Cairo One on Lindell near the Schnooks. They were so, it was like in a strip mall. And I was like, what is this going to be? But the guy who was her physician was so thorough, so kind, so empathetic, so didn't recognize me or anything, like was almost putting on a show of like teaching us about alignment and all these and ligaments and different showing us different diagrams, but like it was just the kind of attention to detail that like made me feel so good about the world. And like, oh my God, there's still some people in the medical profession that are still passionate about what they do and really want to help people. Because you just read so many stories about doctors being dismissive of women's pain and men's pain too. It's you guys as well. But just like not getting it. I mean, the horror story of your medical bullshit that you've had to deal with, Brian, that was only made your tooth pain only came out of you of malpractice of someone misaligning your filling and setting your whole jaw off kilter, and then you not saying anything because you didn't really feel comfortable saying something, and you did, but they kind of dismissed it. It's like it's a nightmare. So it was just like
actually
this
just
Cairo
happened to
one
my
place
friend.
really made me feel so good. I was like, I texted my mom immediately. I'm like, I want to get you in with this guy. He's legit. Anyway, what'd you say, Noah? Sorry.
Well, I was saying what happened, what you were describing that Brian went through has just happened to my friend who has TMJ, and he got a couple of teeth put in or something, and they misaligned it, and it just like really aggravated his TMJ. Now every time he eats, his jaw cracks.
No,
it's terrible.
That's horrible. Oh God, that's so upsetting. I'm so sorry to your friend.
I think dentistry is maybe like a false profession. I don't believe in dentistry anymore. I don't think that they actually help. I think getting cleanings helps. I think getting cavity fillings helps to a degree, but like everything else that they do, it feels like it's a bunch of quackery. Like they don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
My friend went to a dentist here in St. Louis and was told that she needed 9 teeth filled and like a couple root canals, like something crazy, right? And so she was like, she was gonna do it because she's like, but she was like, this is weird for me. I've never really had anything like this. Like I had cavities here and there. She went to a second opinion, no cavities.
Yeah,
these people
they're grifters. I'm
I
out
think I've
on
talked
Vegas.
about it before, but just be cautious out there. And it sucks that you have to get a second opinion because that costs money.
Right. And time.
Yeah.
I'm out on Vegas. I'm out on dentists. I'm done.
Okay.
Those are my 2 things. 2024, my 2 ins and outs. We're getting to the end of the year. We can start doing ins and outs.
Yeah, I should think of some outs because I'm
You got an in.
Well, empathy. You're out of empathy.
I'm out on empathy till the end of the year. Empathy will come back January 6th, which I know is a weird date for it, but post Golden Globes, I am shutting it off. Can't care. Can't
no empathy.
I actually
you have no empathy between January
I'm really sad for Noah's
9/11
friend.
and
I don't even
January
know.
6th.
Yes, those are the dates. I'm out on I'm out on loud noises. I'm tired of everything being loud.
Yeah.
I'm out on can't even think of anything else I'm out on. I'm really in on sleep. I think I'm back on meditation. Yeah, Kirsten told the girls chat that she's been meditating just 5 minutes a night before she went to bed, and she said that she was like, I've never even heard her say anything like this, but she's like, I don't know, I've just been feeling so awkward lately. Like I just feel awkward, and I didn't really know what she meant by that, but she's just like, I don't know, I just can't think of what to say when I'm meant to talk, and then when I do talk, I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And she's never been someone that ever has struck me as someone that's awkward, and so I couldn't really picture it. But I understand. I think we can all relate to that feeling. And then she said she got away from meditating because she had a baby and life kind of got in the way. And then she got back into it just 5 minutes a night. And she said her awkwardness has gone away.
Wow.
Wow, that's a cure.
Yeah, I mean,
I believe it.
What it creates is mindfulness. You know, it creates like
Yes.
you will think about your thoughts before you say them. You can get your ducks in a row before you just open your mouth. It creates a way for you to sort through your thoughts and not just have a junk drawer in your head that you're just grabbing blindly thoughts and spilling them out. So I think it's good. I tried to meditate today, but I fell asleep. So I tried.
Do you remember when we were on the radio show, you would meditate every morning before radio, and
Every
I think
single
you were
morning.
doing like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you'd go home and you'd do more?
Every single morning, because that's what TM is. It's 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon. And yeah, it was really a good practice. And my dogs would sit, they like knew it was time to meditate after their walk, and I'd come back, and it just, yeah, it's great. I really want to get back into it. I'm glad I did it today. If you fall asleep, it's fine.
Is that where you like go to different parts of your body and feel like, okay.
It's the one that you pay for that you can't talk about at all because they want to make money off of it. And it's like a sacred practice that they pass down through Venmo exchanges. And you get a mantra. But pretty much if you want to meditate, this is, if anyone's like, it seems like what do I do? Literally close your eyes, set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and just pay attention to your breath. Literally, you could just say in, out in your head. Just repeat in, out with your breath.
You gave me a
That's all mantra?
You gave me my mantra. I forgot what it was, though.
Yeah, I could get busted for that.
Okay,
I think
sorry.
I just gave
no,
you some
didn't give me
two
my
random
mantra.
words.
Some dentist gave it to me.
We're done with dentists.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just say something over
That
and
would
over.
be. Dentist should be a slur. Dentist
You're
should be
anti-dentite.
like. Dentist should
You're
be like saying.
an anti-dentite, Brian. Do you remember that Seinfeld commercial?
Oh my God, that
episode?
is.
Yeah, he was like, dentists are what do they say? They're sadists with better magazines. That's what. Jerry doesn't like dentists, and then Kramer accuses him of being, "You're an anti-dentite." And he goes, "I am not an anti-dentite." And he goes, "You're a rabid anti-dentite, Jerry." And I did not know what an anti-Semite was when that episode aired, so I didn't even know like what it was based off of. And then at the very end of it, he's watching someone get married, I think, and he's sitting next to Grace from Will and Grace, and she's like a girl he's trying to hit on, and he's like, oh, I hate Dennis, and she's like, I hate Dennis too, and they're kind of like relating about it, and she's like, ugh, they're the worst, and he's like, finally, like, yes, this girl that I'm hitting on like gets that I don't like Dennis and no one else does, and we have this connection, and she goes, not to mention the Jews, and then it just freezes and goes to get Seinfeld is like this. I'm back on Seinfeld in 2025.
All right,
random episodes
Rewatch.
of Seinfeld.
Yes.
Bring them back into your life. They are so soothing. They are so nostalgic. I was just texting Andrew about it because I posted one on my story. So many people wrote to me on Instagram being like, oh my God, this is one of the best scenes ever. You know, it's when George finds the golf ball in the whale's blowhole.
Sure.
And he's like, you know, the sea was angry that day, my friends.
I was in many
Like
a
an
top 10 list.
Yeah, like an old Jewish man trying to return soup in a deli. Maybe I added Jewish to that, but he's in a deli. So, and
soup. It's all soup.
Soup, yeah.
Jews, soup,
and returning
delis.
soup. No offense, but
Yeah.
that seems
That's
anyway.
the Jewiest thing you can do.
It's just the best show. When we watched it last night, my dad, I go, Dad, you want to watch a Seinfeld? It was like 11 at night, and we were kind of like, maybe it was like 10:30. I was like, let's put on and we were like, hell yeah, we put on a Seinfeld, and I picked the marine biologist episode. That's one of the most famous episodes. He's like, I don't know, we've seen this one a bunch, and I go, but that's why it's so good. Like, let's just put it on and go. And it's just so funny, and so it just reminds me of a simpler time. I think it's nostalgic, but I even think if you don't know, like, or you didn't grow up with Seinfeld, it's really like a soothing show. And everyone, I hate older people that talk down to me, but if you're a younger person that's never seen Seinfeld, i.e. Emily, I think Emily's probably seen Seinfeld, it's one that you should go back and watch. It's just it's a classic.
That's why it made me so pissed when I forgot what the controversy was, what Seinfeld said that made everybody mad, something about Israel or something like that. And everyone was on Threads. It wasn't even Twitter. It was Threads saying how Seinfeld was never funny. I never understood why. It was the only time I actually posted a thread where I just said, everybody needs to put their pitchforks away. Seinfeld is one of the best shows of all time. It's just people allowing their political beliefs to infiltrate their enjoyment of a comedy show. Because Seinfeld said in an interview something about, I don't even remember what, they all entirely discounted one of the best comedy, or they
but you can't help if something turns you off about something that you love. Like, there are things that I used to love, and then I hear that person be shitty, or I hear that person say something, and I'm just like, I now like hate what they do, and I literally do hate it. It's not even like I'm choosing to hate it to take a stand. Like, I don't like it anymore. And but it's rare that happens. I think I can mostly separate the art from the artist. But
like if I found out that like Matt Gaetz wrote The Office, I don't know if I'd be able to watch it the same way.
That's a really good point. He certainly did.
You know, I was particularly mad at other comedians who were also shitting on Seinfeld, the show, as if that didn't influence their entire comedic sensibilities during this controversy. That was, to me, irredeemable. It's
very care.
Yeah.
I will say that I recommended on the podcast that movie, what's it called? My Old Ass, you know?
Yeah.
And Emily watched it. I got a message from her last night. First of all, she looks exactly like the girl in the movie. So said she felt like she was watching herself like live this thing that you already is going to make you very, very emotional. What happens in it? But she was like, so she's like filmed a video of herself after she watched. She was like, Nikki, what the fuck? I just got done. Got done sobbing. It was like, I don't know. It was like I was watching myself like go through this because you said I looked like her, and then I kind of started seeing it, and then it was like me, and it was so cute. But like I can't even imagine what that would be like because this movie was already so impactful. But to like think that it was you, like the person looks like you, would like blow your mind. And it's very satisfying when something pays off as much as I know it's going to with someone. Like she was like, it's just like going to change the way I live my life forever. I'm like, I think it will. And even Sarah Lena said that to me too. She was like, oh my God, my old ass has like changed the way I look at the world and like how I'm going to live. And it rattles you. And it's so good. But it's not disturbing. It's just like, whoa, like life is precious. And, yeah, I'm going to go see Anora tonight, I think. I need to see that. I got to watch all the Best Picture stuff. I really don't want to watch Dune. We got to go to break.
You don't have to watch Dune.
We got to go to break. We'll talk about it when we get back. Do I have to watch Dune? I don't have to watch Dune.
No, you don't have to watch Dune. You understand what Dune is.
If I make a Golden Globes joke about it, it's going to be about the little things in their nose. That's all I care. But that's all the thing I know. That's all. That's very interesting to me.
It's in the desert. You know that. It's got the sandworms.
Yep, I know about
big
that.
Worms. So you don't need to know. And Zendaya is in it, and Timothée Chalamet is in it. That's all you need to know.
I'll see Deadpool because that's like a fun romp. I've never seen any Deadpool before, but I hear they reference Hugh Jackman's divorce in this new Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes,
where they're like, "Well, that's why you're back because you're going through a divorce and you need to pay for it." It's like, what? Wait, they do?
They do. They reference everything. It's a movie entirely. The foundation of the movie is meta jokes. It's like. There's nothing to the movie.
Okay,
other than
I'm in that. I'm into that. I mean, wait, isn't in one movie like Brad Pitt's in it, but he plays an invisible guy or something?
Yeah. That's
a funny joke.
That's the last Deadpool, I think. Deadpool, because you only see it the very last second. It almost reminds me of South
Park when they got George Clooney to play a character, and he's just a dog going. Ruff, ruff. It's just George Clooney, but he never talks. I think it's so funny.
I love when George Clooney and Brad Pitt do comedy things. Remember when Brad Pitt was the weatherman on. What was that? Was that John Oliver?
Oh, really?
What was that? Or was that Jim Jeffries' show?
Oh my God. Someone said the other day in an interview, they're like, because I was talking about the Golden Globes. I'm like, I'm going to be like performing in front of like Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And they're like, and I was talking about how I'll have to contextualize myself. Like these people have never heard of me. And the woman was like, well, Brad Pitt's pretty tuned into comedy. I'm sure he's like aware of you. And I literally got turned on when she said it. And I had just been talking about how like my body is not like producing any kind of moisture anymore, and like my insides feel dead, and hormonally I'm just like not ever turned on, and it was instant being turned on that Brad Pitt might have heard of me before. Because I made the joke like I'm wet now, and then I literally was like, I'm not even joking you, that really did it for me, that he may have like he might know my name.
He has a general awareness.
I mean, that is kind of cool when someone's aware of you.
Of course,
and aware. Say your name out of thin air. Someone like Brad Pitt, who you would like. I remember the first time I ever heard his name was in the cafeteria in third grade. Literally third grade.
7.
We had this old black woman that was like our, cafeteria, like kind of. She would just walk around and tell us to eat our Lunchables and stuff. I remember one time she was like, you eat that cheese. Because I hated cheese as a kid. I hated it. Oh. And there was a big stack of it. And she was like, don't waste food. Eat that cheese? And she made me eat the cheese. Mrs. Gordon, shout out. You're definitely dead by now. But I remember we all thought it was so funny because she was like, oh, that Brad Pitt is so cute. We were like, she's got a crush on this young boy. But yeah, that would be cool.
Brad Pitt played this bit as a weatherman on the Jim Jeffries show multiple times, recurring. Yes. And George Clooney would pop up on John Oliver on Last Week Tonight every once in a while as a recurring bit. He had cool. a button where John Oliver could press a button and just summon George Clooney wherever he was and talk to him for a few minutes, and George Clooney would act annoyed by it and be like, "Why do you keep abusing the button?" That was the bit.
Oh, that's great. That's a good bit. And then Matt Damon's constantly like doing stuff for Kimmel, and it's cool when these A-listers have a sense of humor.
The last of the A-listers.
Yeah.
I mean, something
honestly, it is. What?
I have a thing that I wanted to bring up. I was at the gym yesterday, and I had to give someone
doing
attitude.
Your TB12?
No, I don't do TB12 anymore. It's out. TB12's out.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, weightlifting's in.
Okay, got it.
I've returned back to lifting weights because honestly, there's just no replacement for it. You have to lift weights.
Final thought: you gotta lift weights.
Yeah, it's so much better than doing resistance bands.
I know it's better. Yeah. I hate that it's better. I gotta do it too. I've been doing it. Yes, go on. So you're lifting weights.
So I was at the gym, and so you know when you're at the gym and it's busy and people want to use the machines and you have to wait for the machines, and there is what do you do if you want to use a machine that someone else is using?
You linger.
You can linger. You can observe. You kind of have to figure out like what's going on.
You do your own thing nearby, but you kind of like make it known that you're kind of there. Like you just get in their periphery so they're aware, and maybe they speed it up a little bit and don't like, search kayak for flights for their Christmas vacation or whatever while they're sitting on the bench.
Yes. Well, you can go up to the person and say, how many more sets do you have left? This happens all the time.
Of course. Yes.
How many more sets do you have left? Or what I love doing at the gym, this is very common. It's not like I invented this or anything. This is just very common. Someone goes up to you. They say, how many more sets do you have left? And you go, oh, I actually have 3 more sets, but do you want to work in with me?
Right.
Which is very common. And then while you're resting, the other person comes in and does their set. And you have this kind of like camaraderie where you're like always nodding at each other when you're done with your set. Because it's like, now it's your turn. And then when you're finished doing your sets, you can walk away and go, it's all yours. And that's just a great bro moment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to talk. So I'm doing this exercise at the gym, and this bro taps me. Tap is the wrong word because he touched me too hard.
Where?
He tapped right on my shoulder. He like gently shoved me and pushed me on the shoulder. My back was to him. I didn't even know anyone was behind me, and he did this like shove thing, and I was like, whoa.
And you're wearing headphones, I bet.
I had headphones on. He had headphones on. I turned and I was like, and I just assumed that he was going to ask me like how many sets I have left. Right. And I said, I have 2 more sets left. And then he said, well, I've been sitting here and you've been doing nothing for several minutes and I need to use the machine. And I was like, first of all, it wasn't several minutes. At most, it was 1.5 minutes. And so I was like, this guy's being a piece of shit. So I had to give him.
Say, I'm sorry you haven't gotten your dick sucked in a while.
That's what it seemed like. Well,
that's always what it is.
The weird thing about this guy is like 15 minutes prior to that, I accidentally made eye contact with him while he was on like like he was across and his eyes were crazy. Like he had like crazy eyes.
This guy wanted to fight.
And so I looked down. So then he already like had me pegged, and he gave me the little shove, and he said, I've been sitting here and you've been doing nothing for several minutes. And I was like, oh, do you want to work with me? I said, do you want to work with me? Which is like an olive branch. And he ignored that I said that. And I said, do you need this? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to need to use that. And then I was like, okay. And he's like, you've been waiting for several minutes. And I said, I took out my headphones and I said, yeah, it's called resting between sets, which is very normal. And I said it loud enough so that everyone around me, and he was kowtowed. I don't know if that's a better word.
You won.
He was kowtowed, and he stepped away, and then I twisted the knife.
Ooh, what did you say? Hold on.
I did my set. I finished, and when I was done,
it's all yours.
But I didn't say it with any attitude at all. I gave him a smile, and I said, it's all yours, buddy. And I walked away.
Oh,
water off the shoulder.
Oh, yeah. You killed him with kindness.
Killed him with kindness at the end.
He can't have any. He's got to be embarrassed about how he behaved.
He was a little bit too aggressive. And then he followed me in the parking lot and took out a barbed wire bat and he bashed my skull in. So that's the downside of doing that.
He's a dentist.
He's a dentist.
No, there was I had a moment in a plank class yesterday, and she was saying, like, this is one of my pet peeves of these classes. But by the way, like, shout out to all the teachers at the place I go to. If you listen to the podcast, I'm obsessed with all of you. I rarely have any complaints. Like, it's my favorite thing in the world to go to these classes. But there's one thing that I think it doesn't. If I was a teacher, it would happen to me too, where you say, and for 15 more seconds, we're going to do this. And then next, we're going to transition to this and blah, blah. And this one, I just felt like I felt like she was a little bit off with the counting. And so I started like, I didn't rely on her anymore because it would be like 15. And then I felt like, man, it's been 20. And then she'd go and 10, 9. I'm like, well, we're doing 30 when she's saying 15. Like, this is way off. So I was like, I'm going to start counting now to see if it's actually 15, because I've been doing enough of these classes that I'm like, we don't need 30 more. We need 15 more. Like, this is too much. My legs are like shaking and they hurt. And so I was on the machine and she was like, in 15 seconds, we're going to transition. We're going to put the legs in the knee blocks and we're going to do this and take the armbands and blah, blah, blah. She's describing the next exercise. And then she goes, and in 10. And I just go, Jesus Christ. Like, I like couldn't, because I was already like, so like, holding a plank. I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And I like made a really loud noise. I was so embarrassed. And it was not right, because the thing is, these classes, like, you can just do whatever you want. They're so supportive. I love the girls. They're like, so motivating. They say, this is the next 50 minutes are yours and yours only. You take what you want and leave the rest. And I always like love that message. And like, we thank our bodies afterwards. Like, they're the best classes. But that is a thing that sometimes gets on my nerves is, also, I don't want to hear break the bungee cord. I want you to pull that bungee so hard it breaks it. They are not able to be broken. No one ever will. You're giving me something that is unattainable. Just like, I don't want, or they'll say like, push your heels so hard that it breaks the pavement. And I understand it's like a cue to make you do a certain thing, but I don't like being told to do things I can't do that are impossible to do, because then I will always feel like a failure.
The bungee cord can break, but it has nothing to do with how hard you push. It has to do with like general wear and tear. So it's like, eventually it will break, and it's like, whoa, you must have pushed really hard. It's like, actually, it's like old.
Yeah, and I don't like when the songs don't transition to each other. So like, it'll be like the loudest song, and then it'll be dead quiet. We're all like, and then it's like, here comes the 1 to the 2 to the 3, and like Shabuzi starts up again. But it's like this weird period in between where we're all like, and like, it's just so uncomfortable. I do love when I would have thought I hated it when they go like, Nikki, great form, like when they say your name and like shout you out. I would have thought I hated that, but I love it. I love being rewarded and told that I'm doing a good job.
3.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about yesterday.
You're a 3. Big time
3. Also, Emily wrote to me last night and was like, wait, what's a 3? And I was like, take the Enneagram, bitch. And so I sent her the thing, and she is a 2. And then I sent her all of the 2 stuff, and she was like, oh my God, it's spot fucking on.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's so interesting. Yeah, she's a helper.
She's a helper. So a lot of people like this, and like how the instructor counts down is very important. And I feel
it's not seconds.
No, I feel betrayed, and I turn off the instructor if the instructor says we're going to do 10 and then counts down from 10 and then does that bullshit where they go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 5, 5, 5, and they make you do extra.
I would quit so quickly if that shit was going on.
Some people like that because then, I did 4 extra because they just said 5 again and again.
Here's one more that really bothers me, where they say, I need you to say pulse it. Like if you're like putting your leg up in the air and you're pulsing like up 1 inch, down 1 inch, up 1 inch, down 1 inch. Sometimes they go up 1 inch, up 1 inch, up 1 inch. And I go, well, I can't keep going up an inch, but they don't tell you to go down. I need pulsing.
Yes.
And then I also, I don't like, what was the last thing I don't like that happens sometimes? I did the bungee one. I did the
pulsing,
the call out, the
countdowns,
what is it? Oh, I forget now. Wiping down your machine is degrading, and but now I'm kind of liking to do it because I do it so fast and I get out of there. I love my whole team. I love the place I go to. They know me by name. I go in there every day. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. I really love classes. I always thought I would hate classes. I'm really sad that I went my entire adult life never doing classes because I thought I was too competitive, that it would ruin it for me, that it would make me feel fat and slow and out of shape. But it's like, actually, like, no one is watching you in a class because they're so hard. No one's paying attention to you. Literally no one. Oh, here's the thing I wanted to say. I don't like when they pit you against each other. When they go like, go slower than the person in front of you. And if there's no one in front of you, you're setting the tone for the whole room. Me, no, like, I don't want this to turn into a competition. I don't want people to be looking at me, trying to go slower than me. Like, I don't like that. I don't like being, but I get why they say it. It actually does help you to go slower because but I don't like competition.
Well, places like Soul Cycle, they'll have like a leaderboard and you compete, you get like top 10 on leaderboard as you're cycling. Who's going the fastest?
Oh my God. Sometimes you just go to a class and you're on your period and you're tired and you shouldn't even be there. And you just want to phone it fucking in. And sometimes I just want to tell them, girl, I just want to put like there should be a little flag you can put on your machine and go like, don't even try to correct me. You're lucky I'm here. This is going to be as sloppy as fuck. Because sometimes you just don't want to you don't want to bring that energy of like, this is the one time you get to do this all day. You thank your body. We're going to fucking work so hard because sometimes you don't have that. You sign up for these classes 2 weeks in advance because they fill up and you think you're going to be that motivated on 8 a.m. on a Monday, but you're not. And you're just like, you show up as a little slippery slug and you just want to kind of like, just bullshit your way through it. But these classes are great. These girls are never rude. They always make me feel good afterwards. I love it. And I really recommend classes for anyone out there who's like scared of classes that you'll be judged or people will be like, wow, she has bad form or like, no one's looking at you.
I'm so happy that you got to this place because, when you had just started, I mean, this is a complete like 180. So because
I was going to private lessons and paying almost $200 for an hour just so I wouldn't have to be in a class because I wanted it just to be one-on-one. And I got a lot out of that. There's no question about it. But classes are so much cheaper and they're just like, and you don't leave and you won't give up and you can't Slopodopolis because you are like beholden to the class vibe. You had to go through that. That was a necessary step for you to get to the class was the individual training because you would not do it if you were bad at it. So you needed the training first, so then you can go in front of a whole group of people and do it well. But it's never done.
No.
That's the worst part, is that as soon as you're done with the class, it's countdown till the next one. You got to keep going.
Life.
Again
That's a metaphor
and again
for life.
and again. It's never over until it's over. All right, the podcast is over. Thank you for listening to the show this week. We will be here next week, on the road this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama, I think on Saturday. Memphis, Tennessee on Friday. Memphis, I think there's still tickets available for Memphis. I think Birmingham, probably a couple as well. These aren't markets I go to a lot, so if I'm in your area, please come see me. And then next weekend, Hot Springs, Arkansas. I have been on a tour of the fucking South, dude. It was
Hot
Oklahoma.
Springs, man.
Then Texas, then Iowa, then South Carolina, then North Carolina, then before Oklahoma, Florida. Now Birmingham, Memphis, and next week Arkansas.
Pretty
Crazy.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we're rounding out the end of the tour this year in New Hampshire and Vermont. So I think tickets are maybe still available to those.
Deep south of the north.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll see you on the road. We'll see you on the podcast next week. Thanks for listening. Don't be cuffed. Bye.